Welcome back to Level Up Games. Rom here, interviewing tonight's Legacy winner, TK. How you doing tonight?
Great. This is week 2 of going 3-0 with Old Faithful.
And what would Old Faithful be?
So I started playing Legacy 7 years ago with a little deck called Maverick. It's green, white, hate bears. It evolved over time. And so now, there's a couple of these cards. And the goal of the deck is to punish your opponent by playing greedy cards. You want to cast spells. Here's Thalia, Guardian of Thraven, taxes your spells. Oh, do you want to do more things? Now, here's a giant 7/7 knight that's coming in at you. It's the biggest card. It's probably the most heavy hitter card in the deck in terms of creature wise. So, from Lord of the Rings, we got an additions like Bowmaster, which has been dominating both Legacy and Modern. So, it's been pretty helpful. It actually helped me steal a game back in my favor against a deck called Blue Black Shadow. So yeah, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, just playing a bunch of fun, quote unquote, fair creatures. Even then, objectively, they are pretty fair. I definitely am a fan of those style of decks myself. I'm glad to hear that some of the new cards was definitely helping you out, especially Bowmasters. I know it's such a powerhouse that they try to brainstorm into it, and you just have the Bowmasters to punish them very heavily for it. Let's talk about some of the games. What was one of the easier matches of tonight?
Well, I think one of the easier matches happened to be the last match, which was against Tez, the Epic Storm. Their game plan is casting a whole bunch of spells in one turn, then with a payoff card called Tendrils of Agony, or I can't remember the other Storm card. It's a red Storm card.
Anyway, I think I remember Graveshot.
No, the other red one that makes goblins. Empty the Horde. Yeah, there it is. So, unfortunately, opponent bricked, which is what we call when they don't get the payoff spell, and I was able to successfully just bash him with my little creatures over time.
I'll say it's always nice to have your opponent hit the fail rate to get the nice, easy win.
Yeah.
What was a tough matchup of tonight?
Ooh, it definitely had to be Blue Black Shadow. So that matchup is a attrition match where they play efficient creatures, efficient spells that either removes my creatures or strip my hand apart. And so it's very much reliant on my top decks to get myself back into play. And I was able to get game 1 by playing this weird dance of, I'm just going to wasteland your lands away until we'll eventually get to the mid game or the late game where I can have some creatures out. Yeah, it was a very weird game 1. My opponent would agree. So that's how I think that matchup is very difficult to pilot through if you don't know how that matchup interacts with Maverick, the deck.
No, that makes sense. Definitely the attrition-based matchups, anything like mid-range-esque, just being able to just try to 1-for-1 your opponents or sometimes 2-for-1 your opponents really well and just kind of put the game to top deck matters. And glad you're able to get there in the end, and especially a tough matchup like that.
Yeah.
And since it's in, I guess, recent news, we got our BNR, the more timely one, not an emergency one, hit, and we got a couple unbans, both for Modern and Legacy. And Legacy, we got Mind's Desire. So how do you feel about the announcement? Did you wish you saw something get kicked out, or maybe something else come off, or are you pretty happy?
I'm finally, after been preaching to the world that Mind Desire should be unbanned like several years ago, it finally got unbanned. As a Storm lover, I love just casting spells and just ripping it and just making sure. But me personally, as a Maverick fan, we have this little guy called Teague. And Teague says, non-creature spells with converted mana cost 4 or greater can't be played. So it says no desire, none for you.
I would say definitely now with the current card pool, just like a lot of clean, efficient answers to something like Storm. Then again, sometimes Storms can still get under, which is the power of that deck. But it's good to see some more fun cards come off, especially when it comes to just spinning the wheel.
Exactly. But my opponent did cast Mind Desire the last game of the night, and it was like, all right, let's see what happens. Let's spin the wheel. So it's so fun. It's such a fun Magic card. Is it legal in EDH? Or is it banned in EDH?
I believe it should be. No, it's legal.
It's legal. Yeah, no, because that's been favorite card of playing during EDH when you just cast all these spells. It's like, all right, let's do it.
Well, glad it was able to at least happen and not kill you, I guess, tonight. So once again, congratulations on getting the victories tonight, and thank you for the time. Have a good night.
Thank you.